So for this video, I'm going to teach you how to make your own Google Classroom. Now remember that to make your own Google Classroom, you need to have two things. The first thing you need to have is a Gmail account. And the next thing you need to have is a stable internet connection. So if you have those two things, we can begin. So as you can see here on the screen, I have my Google Chrome open. And as you can see here, I'm already signed in to my account in Google, right? So I'm good to go. So to go to Classroom or to access Classroom from my browser, I have to go to the URL classroom.google.com. All right. So I'm going to type that here, classroom.google.com. Then click enter. Okay. Now that Google Classroom, the page for Google Classroom is completely loaded. So I can show you the I can give you a little tour around Google Classroom. So here we have these tiny squares. These are what we call our class cards, right? So there are two kinds of class cards. There are class cards that represent the classrooms that you are a student in, all right? And the second type of class cards are represent the classrooms that you own or the classrooms that you are a teacher in. So there are two kinds. So you can easily differentiate those two kinds of classrooms by their appearance. So if you can see here, these are the subjects that I actually um, teach for this semester. So here you see the class name, then these are the sections or the groups of students that actually take this class. Now here, so obviously I am a teacher in these classrooms. So if I go down here, these two, you'll notice that these two class cards look different, don't they? There's a picture of a man here, and there's an extra detail here, which is the name. So these types of classrooms are the classrooms that I am a student in. Right? So this is actually my instructor for that subject, and his name is Erwin Tangliben. The course name or the description for the course is actually TBI, and the name is CBP on Google Classroom. Right? So those are the two types. For class cards that look like these, um, I am a student in these ones. All right. So for these other classrooms, I am a teacher in these ones. So you can easily see them in a browser. I'm not sure about the Android application. I'm not very fond of the Android application because it limits the things that I can do as a teacher there. So I'm not very fond of it. But as you can see, it's very self-explanatory and it's very obvious. The difference between the two classrooms are very obvious once you're in a browser, right? Once you're using a browser. So I think that's all I have to say. I have in with regards to the class cards, right? So now I'm going to teach you how to create your classroom, right? So to create a classroom, all you have to do is just check. All you have to do is click on new or this plus sign over here. So click on that, then click on, obviously you're a teacher, so you're going to create a class. Now all you have to do is tick this checkbox, check, then click on continue. Now we have something interesting here. We have 4 areas that we can edit, right? but only one area is actually required, and that is a class name, which means if you only have a class name, that is enough to actually make an entire classroom. Alright, so here we have class name required, the section, subject, and room, not so much. So for the sake of example, I'm going to make a new classroom for you, and I'm going to make it the classroom for TLE3. So for a class name, I'm going to call my class name TLE3, which is actually the course code of the subject. Now for the section, this will be the class that's supposed to take the subject. So it will be PTVT Ed 2. And for the subject, I like to put the course description here. So here we have teaching competencies in ICT. I think I got that wrong. Okay, good. There we go. Then for room, let's just pretend that we're online, so I'm just going to leave room blank. All right. So you'll be able to see that it will work even if we don't have a classroom, because it's not required. All right. Only classroom is required. Again, all right. Remember that you can work with just a class name. Google will accept that. All you need to have is a class name, and that's enough for Google. So you have to remember that, right? So as a review, these are the important things. The only thing you actually need to be able to create a classroom, except for the internet connection, is a Gmail account. Next, to create a class, only the class name is required. All right? So can you see what I'm doing here? Right? If you don't, okay. But for those of you who have become, who actually already have actually taken some of my classes, you'll know what I mean. All right, so now we have this, then we just have to click on create. All right, so this is our new classroom. We have been sent directly to the stream page of our classroom. It is technically the home page of your classroom. So this is the stream page. This is where you can put your updates. This is where your students, given your permission, can actually post anything in the classroom. It technically looks like a bulletin board, but it's more dynamic, and it resembles a Facebook live feed more than anything else. All right? So here you can put polls, you can put questions, and technically everything you upload in your classwork page, there will be some sort of shortcut or update that will appear in your stream. All right? So that's going to happen. So you have to watch out for that. So here in the stream, we can actually change the theme or the appearance of your entire classroom. And to do that, we have two ways to do that, to change the appearance. First is by selecting a theme from the Google Gallery. And the second way is by uploading a photo from your device, right? So when I say theme, I technically only mean this image at the top, this banner, or some people call it the header. All right, so I call it a banner. So this area over here with the picture and with the name, this is a very critical part of your theme, because whatever this, by default, Google gives you something that they think would represent your subject based on the name and the description. That's how their algorithm works. And that's only the first part of the algorithm. The second part is, the second question that Google has to answer is, what color would I put for these headers? So the answer would be whatever the main color of the banner picture is, right? So as you can see, the main color for this is gray. So we have a very dark shade of gray over here. This is not black. I believe this is not black. This is actually a very dark shade of gray. black looks different on your screen. All right. So let's just say I don't want the medals. All right. My students are just second year students. I don't think they're going to graduate soon. They still need 2 years. So I want to change that, and I want to find a theme that has blue in it. Blue is good. So blue motivates the mind to study. So I'm going to find a blue theme. And I want to find it in the Google Gallery, because the Google Gallery actually has around 6 categories to choose from, and they offer lots of um, interesting pictures to work with. So we're gonna go with that. So first, to change your theme, the first way is to select a theme from your Google Gallery. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to click on select theme over here. Then we wait. So here we have the general category. So here we have your usual computers, something about education and stuff, all the generic stuff. Now we have English and history, maths and sciences. We have arts, sports, and others. And others are mostly based on, the Slacker things. That's where you will find the coffee icons, paper, pens, writer stuffs. You're going to find those there. So here, I think I found something that would work. I think I'm going to choose this for my ICT course. I just like the blues in it. There's blue. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to click on select class theme. All right. So you can look at this here. See how it changed from black or very dark gray to blue almost immediately, as soon as this banner image also changed. So that's fun, right? So here, as you can see, I successfully changed the theme of my classroom just by selecting a theme from the Google Gallery. Now let's just say that I don't want that. I have a perfectly fine picture in my device, and I want to use that. Now, for me to be able to use that, I have to upload a photo. So that's the second way for you to change the appearance of your classroom. It's by selecting or uploading a photo directly from your device. So to do that, I just have to click on upload photo directly below select theme. There we go. There. So we have two choices. We can either do the basic drag and drop, very easy, or we can select a photo from your computer and it will open a file directory, how do we call it, window. Yeah, and we just have to locate the file. So we're going to try the harder one, because why not? Right, so it's like that. I was sent directly to the last place, the last folder where I took a picture to upload online, right? So I'm going to choose, I think I like this one. This looks cool, I think. So I'm going to click on this one. Oh, this one. It says computer on it. So I think if I click on this one, it will bring it back to a dark theme. I think, yeah. Oh, no, it's blue. Nice. Right, so we have that. There's a computer. Very ICT, at least. Okay, so let me just, okay, the handles aren't cooperating. All right, there we go. So now, by default, if you notice, by default, the handles were located around here, right? So you can actually drag that any way you want. Let's also drag it this way. So if you're already satisfied with that, you can now click on select class theme. If you don't like the picture, you just have to click on cancel and do the same thing, right? So, but I like this picture, so I'm going to select it and I'm going to finalize it. And to finalize this decision, I have to click on select class theme. So click, then we wait. Changing, then there we go. So now my theme is back to black, right? Because this image is mainly black, right? So that's how Google's algorithm works. They take the main color and they turn it into a theme color. Isn't that nice? So Those are the two ways for you to change the appearance of your classroom, by selecting a theme or by uploading a photo to base the theme on, right? So the second thing you need to learn is how to invite students to your classroom. Right, so to invite your students to your classroom, you need to go to the People page. And to go to the People page, you have to click on the People tab. So when I say tab, I mean these little buttons over here at the top. They are links, and whichever has this little line below it, it means it's the activated, or it's the currently activated tab. And what you're seeing is its page, right? So we need to go to the People's tab to see the People page. So we're gonna click on that, and we wait. There we go. So as you can see, I am the only one in this classroom. So here's my name. I'm a teacher and I have no students. So it gives me the choice to invite students to my class. So there are actually three ways. There are three ways for you to add students to your class. First is by sending an invite link. The second way is by sending an email invite. And the third way, which is also the least secure way, is by sending the class code. All right. So I'm going to demonstrate each of those now. Right. So first, we can invite, like I said earlier, we can invite students by sending them an invite link. So how do we do that? So first, we need to find the invite link. Where do we find the invite link? So there are three places for you. There are three places where we can find the invite link. First is this. Second is this. Then third is in here in the Stream tab. So first, we're going to tackle the two locations which are nearest to us, which is this and this. So first, we're going to click on this. And here, invitation link. That's the invitation link. Just have to copy it, email it to a student, or paste it on Messenger or via text if you want. Or if you're if you're feeling industrious, you can write it down on a piece of paper. Who knows? Maybe they'll get it. Maybe they won't. So you just have to copy this and it will work. If you copy it, or if you send it via Messenger to your student and they click on it, they will actually be redirected to this classroom and they will be automatically enrolled to this classroom, whatever email they used. All right. So there's a bit of a problem there if you think about it, but it will work. It will work if you try hard enough, I think. So here, first way to find the invitation link, done. Now, second way to find the invitation link is by the class settings. The class settings is represented by this gear icon over here. So click on that. We open the class settings and we go to the general category. And here we have invitation codes. So we have invitation link, and here we have the whole invitation link, which we can also copy. And lastly, so the third place where we can find the invitation link is in the Stream tab. So I'm going to show that to you too. I'm just going to click on the Stream tab, then click on this display button or display link near the class code. So if I click on that, the class code will appear, and below it we have copy invitation link. So if I click on that, link copied. So let's just try it. I'm going to paste it here, see if it's all actually the link, and there we go. That's the link for our classroom. That is an invitation link. All right. So now we go back to the people, right? The People tab. So now that we're done with trying to find the invitation link, we will move on to the next way for us to add students to our classroom, and that is by sending an email invite. So sending an email invite requires one thing from your student, and that is their actual email address. So you have to ask the student for their actual email address that they want to use for your classroom. So you can find ways to gather that information. You can use blackmail if you want. Just kidding. You can ask for it. you can ask for it. I think you're allowed to ask for it, especially if you're asking for you're organizing a student profile for your classroom. You can ask for it. So that's one way to get it. So let's just say you already have your own, uh, you already have uh, a collection or a registry of your class, your students' email addresses. So now all we have to do is go here and see this below the invitation link. We have type a name or email address. So we're going to do the obvious. We are going to type the email address of our students. I think by experience, I have tried typing around 20 email addresses all at the same time and clicking on invite, and all those invites actually got sent at the same time. So you can do that. You don't have to just type one email address, then click on invite, then do it again around 100 times if you have 150 students. So you can actually do it in bulk. It can work, right? And copy pasting works here too, especially if you copy paste from Excel, right? If you copy paste cells from Excel, it will actually appear in Google in this text box as individual emails. Google is smart enough to actually recognize emails. So that's a good thing, right? So that's what we have. So let's just pretend I have a student who is conveniently named sample student, right? So I'm going to put their email here. Mr. Sample student. Maybe his nickname is Sam. So at gmail.com. So there, that is Sam's email. So as you can see, even if an email doesn't exist, Gmail would actually place the pretend email in the sample results, in the search results. So this won't work if you're just trying to check if an email exists, right? A joke email or a pretend email can work here just as easily, right? So if you're sure that that is your student's email, just click on that. Then maybe you can you can actually just click on invite right now, but I'm going to show you that it's also possible to add other students' emails here, right? So I'm just going to put Sam's brother here, Sam the second or Sam the third, right? Sample underscore student junior at gmail.com. Maybe they're brothers, right? Who knows? So I'm just going to click on that. So you can see that works too. So you can add around, just to make sure, you can at least add 10 students at a time. I think that's the safest, because if you try 20, if your internet fluctuates and you can there's a very high chance that you lose all the emails. So if you actually type it manually, it's smarter to just settle with um just enough, maybe 5 students, 10 students. That will work, right? So now that I have my 2 students here, let's just click on invite. Right. So now that I've already sent now that I've sent my email invites, I can actually see the pending invites in my students list. So this is what frustrates us teachers most of the time, because sometimes students will always ask for an email invite again and again and again. And every time we check our students list, we can clearly see that they didn't even open the email, all right? They didn't even click on it. But you can clearly see that the email they give you is the same email that we have there pending. So it's very annoying and very frustrating sometimes for teachers. So that's why we get really pissed off sometimes, especially when we add. And as you can see, even I just gave up and gave you my course code, even if it's not secure. That's because it's very difficult to manage a lot of students, especially if they are having internet issues. So that's a problem, I think, that we face most of the time. So you can watch out for that and prepare for that. So I'm just showing you that it's possible, and there's a reason why we're very pissed off whenever you make us try to send you um email invitations again, right? Because we see it, it's over there. You're just not clicking on it, right? Okay. So here we can see two pending email invites, sample student junior and sample student at gmail.com. Once they click on that, their names would actually look like this. My name at the top. I will be able to see their profile picture over here, and their name will be printed on black, right? It will be printed on black, very readable, and not this very light gray image that text that you see right now. All right. So that is how you invite students via email invite. The last way to invite a student, the third way, is by sending the course code, right? So there are two ways for you to find the course code in a classroom, right? So I'm going to show you that right now. So again, a class code is a very unique code that represents a classroom in the registry of all classrooms in the entire world. Right? So one classroom is very unique. So it is very unique, and it only represents one class code. It's only represented by one class code. So remember, the ratio is one classroom to one class code. But the fun thing about it is a class code can actually be reset or changed anytime we want. So it's unique, but it doesn't actually mean that it's fixed, right? It's very changeable and very unique. That's fun about it. I think it's fun. So again, if you give a class code to a group of students, it means that you give them the power to give it to others as well. Even if you tell them not to give it to others, there will always be people who will join your classroom, even though they're not students. Just they will join it just because they know what a Google class code is. They will try to use it and they will enter. You have no idea how many people I actually kicked out from your classrooms because of this. Right? I think for one class I actually kicked out around 13 to 20 people that no one in the office actually knows. Right? I checked the students list. I checked for maybe alternate names for emails, because I think most people have alternate emails and internet personas, I think. So I checked for that too, but in the end I just kicked off a lot of people. I kicked them out a lot. Most of the time, a teacher actually has power to do that. So we can do that. Yeah. So again, where was I? I'm going to teach you how to find your class code and how to replace them. Alright. So to find your class code, you have two places to do that. You can either go to the class settings or obviously in the stream page. So we're going to go to the class settings first. I know you already know where to find it. General, right? And there, class code over here. See? Class code. Easy as that. Then we go to the stream again. Stream, class code, enlarge class code, big class code. Easy, right? So what do we do now? So now that I've taught you how to invite students in three ways, I'm going to teach you how to restrict the access of people outside your classroom. How to restrict people that you don't know from actually joining your classroom. Because like I said, giving the class code is very risky. It's not secured, and you aren't in control of the people who actually join your classroom. All right. So to do that, to restrict people from actually joining your classroom, you can go to the class settings, go to general, and as you can see here, we have manage invitation codes. It says here that settings apply to both invitation links and class codes only. So those are the two things that are less secure, right? Or the two ways that are very much less secure than the actual email invite, right? So if you think about it, I'm actually implying, or I'm actually explaining to you that the only decent way, decent, secure way to actually add students into your classroom is by email invite. It takes a lot of effort, but I think it's worth it because it will save you a lot of time, especially if you're having a hard time figuring out who these people are, right? So here we have manage invitation codes, and currently it's set to enable. So if I click on this arrow, I will be given two choices. I have a choice to disable invitation links and class codes altogether. So if I do that, I'm just clicking on this here, and so you can see the class code and the class and the invitation link is gone, right? So this whole area here just disappeared, right? So if I exit class settings and if I actually go to the stream, the class code will be disabled. And if I go to people, if I try to find the invitation link here, there will actually be no invitation link whatsoever in this pop-up, right? It's blank. I only have a choice to type a name of or email address of a student. So that's what happens if you disable the class code and the email or the invitation link in the settings. So let's try enabling it again. So we're in the general, then disable, enable. And as you can see, we'll be given another invitation link and a class code. But let's just say I don't like this class code, or maybe I've given this class code and some students are actually not, some students are joining and you aren't having that much control over it now. Maybe a student left it in the internet cafe and now even elementary school students just join it whenever they want. So if you want that to change, you can actually edit your or reset your class code by doing this. You just go to manage invitation code, but instead of disabling it, you can reset it. So just click on reset, and just like that, it will change. Just give it a moment. So it says here, the class code set to DTOSGZH. So here we go, DTOSGZH. So it's new now. And remember that if you reset the class code and invitation link, all the past class codes and invitation link will cease to work. Alright, they will no longer work. So that's the implications of resetting your invitation link and class code. So I think we're done with that. I think we've tackled it and we're done. So next we need to what else do we need to do? We need to add co-teachers. Yeah. So now we need to add the co-teachers. If you're if you're already familiar with this, I think you easily figure out how to add teachers. We add teachers in the same way we add students. But this time all we have to do is to have their email address, because we can only invite teachers by inviting them via email. Right? So we just have to click on this. Then type a name or email address of your teacher. So let's just put co-teacher _01. Let's just say I have a co-teacher whose email is like that, very convenient, at gmail.com. So there we go. That is my co-teacher, Miss Co-teacher01 at gmail.com. So I'm just going to click on that. Then again, we can add lots of co-teachers at once, doesn't matter. So, but let's just say I just want to add this one. So we have that. Now we have just have to click on invite, then we wait. There we go. So co-teacher01 still hasn't checked her email, and so I just have to wait because this invite is still pending at the moment. So again, if they have accepted the email, their name would look like this, and I will be able to see their profile picture here. So that's all we have for adding co-teachers to a class. So now I'm going to teach you how to add materials to your classwork page. So now as I said, I've already told you about the stream tab and the stream page, and the people tab and the people page. So now we'll be working on the most main part of our classroom, which is the classwork page, which can be accessed by clicking on the classwork tab. So I'm going to click on that. There we go. So this is where all your lessons, all your materials, and all your quizzes and your assignments will appear, and they will be arranged here. Right. So the original arrangement of Google is what ascending, I think is the word for it. So the first, if you add a material, it will appear here. If you add another material, the next one will appear at the top of the first material. So it stacks together like an array, or a stack rather. It stacks like a stack of boxes, right? So first I'm going to teach you how to add materials to classwork page, but I think your module is missing something. So it's not very important, and actually a classroom can work without topics, but I think topics are very important. I think, at least, topics are very important if you want a well-organized classroom, because topics can group your materials into tiny little groups or very organized groups. So topics are good. So I'll leave it to you regarding how you will separate your topics. But if you want an example on how to work with topics, you can actually look at my classrooms. All right? Because I like grouping my subjects. So here we have create. We're going to create a topic this time. So create, then topic. Easy. Now we need to have a name. So let's just say my first lesson will be intro. So I'm going to apply a convention here. Let's just say for all topics, I'm going to write all topics in all caps, then all materials in regular caps, right? Sentence type. So here I have intro to ICT. So that will be class 1 or week 1. Let's just say it's week 1 for me. Intro to ICT. So I'm going to click on add. There we go. Then let's just say I want to make another topic for next week. It's okay. I can do that. So let's just say my new is communication and technology. That's decent enough. So if I actually add that, you can see that it actually stacks. See, week 2 is located above week 1. So it means your students will actually see the latest installment to your classwork at the top, near the top. So it's very accessible for them. But if you want it to look like a reversed stack, the first lesson 1 will be on top, lesson 2 at the bottom, etc., and it will go on. You can actually just drag and drop it. There are 2 ways to reposition your topics. First is by clicking on this ellipsis. Ellipsis is represented by 3 dots, right? These 3 dots over here are called ellipses. This icon, which has 3 dots, is called an ellipsis. But I've seen a training that actually ERUTech, the instructor at ERUTech actually calls this the fishbowl button. Alright? He calls this the fishbowl button. But it's actually called an ellipsis, guys. But fishbowl would work fine too, especially if you forget it. It's easier to explain it that way, isn't it? So I'm going to click on the ellipsis. And as you can see, we have move up or move down. So if I move it up, it will move upwards. If I click on this, and if I move down, it will move downwards. Easy as that. Or if I can also drag and drop. See, isn't that nice? Google Classroom works with drag and drop. This is something that Facebook doesn't have, or YouTube, or Tumblr, or anything really. I don't know about Twitter, but this is the only page in this is the only Google application I think that, or browser application I think, that can actually use drag and drop so far. Tell me if there are others that use drag and drop, or any social media that uses drag and drop. I need to know. So again, drag and drop, it works. It's nice. It's fun. So now we will move on to what we actually need to do is to add the materials. So materials, let's just go back to the classwork. Materials are the things that the students actually study. They can be reading materials, viewing materials, they can be audio, video, um, Google Sheets, Google Forms, presentations, and sometimes they can be websites, they can be interactive videos, they can be games, and they can even be forms, or some things that they can fill up. They can be links to a subscription, they can be links to a shop, they can be a product in a shop, for example, a link to Amazon or Lazada or Shopee. It doesn't matter. All I mean, what I mean is that all of those things that you give to a student are called materials. All right. So we're going to make materials. So here we have that. All we have to do is click on create, then material, of course. Then we have a name. We have to name our material. So let's just say I want to create a topic for my week 1, which is Introduction to ICT. So to do that, let's just say that my first lesson would be information. So week 1 will have lesson 1. So again, I'm following a convention here. So sometimes I like to use dashes for certain things, and for others I use colons. And I actually strive to keep it uniform until I finish the entire thing. Right? It makes me feel like everything's connected and everything is in order. Right, so lesson 1 would be about information. Yes, information. So again, description is optional, but you can put sometimes I put my objectives here, as you can see in my classroom. I put the objectives from the module here. Sometimes you can also put your instructions, your thoughts, your opinions regarding a certain topic. People do that there. Sometimes teachers put reminders there, deadlines, or other things that you want the student to know as they open this material. Right. Now, again, description is optional. A material will work with just its title and a few of its contents. Right. So now, we will move on to the contents. So here we have 2 buttons. We have add and create. Obviously, create requires more effort than add. So we're going to do that first. So create, we have docs, slide sheets, drawings, and forms. So as you can see, there is a reason why I actually tried to give you or force a crash course on Google Drive, Docs, slides, and sheets to you last month. And all of that is done in preparation for this. Because you can actually create a classroom just by using your Microsoft Office skills. But it also pays to know how to create document slides and Excel sheets in online using Google Classroom. All right. So I'm kind of glad that most of you actually tackled it and did quite well in it. So kudos, guys. So here we have, if you click on this, it will immediately create a document that will be attached to your material. So let's just pretend I want to create a document about this. So click on that. As you can see, creating Google Docs, and another tab will open which will redirect me to my new Google document. So let's just wait. It's currently an untitled document, as you can see. Excuse me. So if you want to change this untitled document, all you have to do is change this title over here. Whatever you put here will appear here, right? Let me just make that clear. Sorry. Wait. Still loading. I think it's trying to cooperate. So let me just, yes, I can edit it. So let's just say, so we have ICT document. Let's just put some lorem ipsum here. There we go. Here we go. We have some lorem ipsum here. Now let's just say we'll just wait for it to save. Then we'll exit it because it's using a lot of internet data. All right. Let's just wait. Okay, I think we're done. There we go. Save to drive. So now if I close this, I can see that I have an untitled document here. If I post this right now, the title will actually change. I think it will take a little bit of time for it to change, but it will change. Right, so here we have create, where you can create stuff. So you can even put forms here. But bear in mind that you can convert your forms into quizzes by using materials. But bear in mind that there is actually a function for you to create quizzes in Google Classroom, and that is by making a quiz assignment. I'm not saying that it is impossible for you to create quizzes in forms, but it is not convenient for you and for your students. Because if you create a quiz by using this forms feature over here, if you create a quiz by using that, it means that you have wasted the perfect opportunity to use a deadline, an automatic scoring system, and other features that are available for quiz assignment. All right. So what I'm saying is, yes, there is a forms option in the material, but it doesn't mean, but it's only good for obviously forms, right? You can put surveys there, a show of hands, or you can even put, a suggestion box for students or a voting option. But you don't have to put your quizzes here, because if you put your quizzes inside materials, there's a very high chance that the students will not even find those materials. I will not even find those quizzes because they will not be alerted in their class card. All right. So the alerts that you see for your activities can be found those alerts are there because those quizzes or those activities were created by using an assignment or a quiz assignment. All right. Those are the things that actually hold a feature. They actually hold features for deadlines and due dates. All right. So that's one thing that you need to understand, I think. Yes, there are forms. Yes, there is an option for form, but that doesn't mean that you have to use it by using a quiz, because making a quiz is just one click away, literally one click away. All right. So I'm going to show you how to create quizzes later. But just for now, please never create a quiz inside a material. All right? Think of your students. Think of how disappointed they will be if they don't find it. Right? And even you will have a hard time trying to check the material or trying to check the scores, because Google will not give you a chance to actually check the results that fast. All right? So I think we're done with creating. Let's go to add.